Sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh.
Josh, as we're recording, Christmas 2025 has come and gone. I am switched from my Christmas sweatshirts to just black. I have a black, no mark on it, quarter zip because I'm sad, but also I'm bloated from cheese and cookies, so I need something that's forgiving. How was your Christmas?
It was great. I mean, it was chaos at the house with kids and, trying to encourage them to pump the brakes so that we didn't finish Christmas presents and everything by approximately 6:45 in the morning. But we were able to do that. And the weather here in Middle Tennessee was spectacular. So we spent so much of the Christmas holiday outside, playing outside, riding bikes,
It
playing
was
in the driveway. It
crazy,
was
and
like
now it's
4th of
back to,
July
like,
on Christmas
30-something
Day around
degrees,
here.
and we all sound like crap, so, I wonder why. The mood swings are fierce in Nashville, but we are here to talk to you about the last new Christmas movie on Hallmark's docket this season, The Christmas Baby, and here is the plot summary. Aaron and Kelly agree to temporarily care for a baby who mysteriously shows up on their doorstep days before Christmas. However, as the couple spend more and more time with the boy, they start to realize they want to adopt him for themselves. Let's go. Okay, so we open to our leading ladies in a kerfuffle because there's one lady, Kelly. She's making theater props for the Christmas show she's working on in their living room. This is a same-sex couple. They're already married. Hey, we never get couples that are already married on Hallmark, so that makes this controversial to me. That's the only thing that makes this controversial to me. We don't have to deal with them dating. They're
Yeah.
already in love. And
Mhm.
Kelly's
Mhm.
decorations have taken over the house loudly, and turns out they're gonna host both of their families for the holidays, and they have a lot of work to do. They go to their standing coffee date at this same coffee shop as they do every week, and they talk about how busy they are and how they're so not jealous of a nearby family with a baby, but they look jealous. There's some longing in those eyes. Aaron is at Bobo Mailboxes, etc., that her and Kelly, I guess they own this copy store place, but really Aaron is the one that works there most of the time because Kelly's also doing set decorations. Yeah. She should have
Community
gone to
theater
work at the
kind of
community
things.
center
Yeah.
with the Knightleys movie we just talked about on Up TV. Could have used her help. All right. She hears a door
There you
open while
go.
she's in the
Yes.
back trying to get shipments out, and her phone's dying. She keeps talking about her phone's dying. She hears the door open. She goes out. It's a baby in a stroller in the front of the store, and no one's around. Sidebar, the synopsis says this baby's left on their doorstep, and a proverbial doorstep, sure, but this baby's chilling in the front of the copy store. Okay? Let's get that right. There's a note that says, Kelly and Aaron, I know you'll take good care of him. His name is Nicholas. I'm sorry. I tried. Oh, this already gave me feelings, right? Because you just have to think of
Mm.
how, like, the brain space that somebody would be in to do this, which is something I feel like was missing from the Three Wise Men movie. Like, that baby showed up on the doorstep at the firehouse, and it was yucks aplenty. And this movie, to me, overall, has the weight of this loss from my birth mom and just all of the feelings that we're going to unpack here. So it was a heavier tone, I guess I'm trying to say. So Aaron tries to call Kelly, but Kelly is in the middle of,
For
she's
sure.
going to get some major award for set decorations or something at community theater, and all their friends are there. And OPS, um, Aaron's phone's dying, so she literally takes the baby in the stroller and runs to the awards ceremony. And she's holding the baby in the back, like bouncing him as Kelly wins this award. And Kelly's on stage thanking her, why do you have a baby? kind of moment, which I thought was funny. It would be alarming to be certain if your spouse was holding a baby that was not yours. Yeah. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
friends and Kelly say, "We have to call the police because they're trained and know what to do." Barbara Niven shows up, and she, I guess, is the head of or works for DCS. She's a social worker, and she's gonna take Nicholas to the hospital to get him checked out, and then he will be placed with a foster family for the holidays. Aaron you can tell, is already super connected with this boy. And she's torn. She doesn't want him to go away, but they also know they don't really know anything about parenting and what are we going to do. They end up going to the hospital and asked to be a temporary emergency home for him for a couple of days because the thought of him going to a foster home made them sad. They weren't quite ready to say goodbye to him yet. I do appreciate this. Barbara Niven's like, that's fine. We can probably work something out for a couple of days, but there's a lot of paperwork and emails that have to be sent before the baby is just discharged from the hospital the next day. Being an adoptive mother myself, there's a lot of paperwork. Lots of background checks, fingerprints. You got to get cleared with anybody who's ever seen you before in your life. And P.S., if your home study expires before the adoption's finalized, you get to do it all again the next year and the next year. My fingerprints are bone dry at this point from our lengthy process. It didn't happen overnight. We didn't have Barbara Niven pushing it through. But it also wasn't a foster care situation. So, speaking of babies, you have a baby in the background of your video.
Yes. Oh, hi. Are you coming to say goodnight?
Did you give them ice cream for breakfast?
I love when this happens. Are you saying goodnight?
Come on. It's Christmas.
No,
or it
we
was.
did not do the ice cream for breakfast. I know. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Are you saying goodnight? I love you. Bye.
Our listeners were really hoping you would give them ice cream for breakfast. You Scrooge.
So I know. I am a Scrooge when it comes to ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think about the rest of the day, All
right, so back to Barbara Niven. She's typing away stuff. Turns out the girls get approval, and their friend brings them a lot of old baby stuff to their house, and they try and think of potential people who could have dropped this baby off, who obviously knew who they were because they listed their names on the note. Their moms show up, and I think, oh, this is going to be too much. The moms are going to take over. The moms are going to be overbearing. The moms were great, and they were super helpful, super understanding, and rock star moms, yay for the moms, right? Am I alone in thinking that? Yeah. They jump into baby mode. They're excited for however long this baby's in their lives, and they're going to help the girls figure this out. They offer loving glances and good talks with the daughters. They're super supportive, and it's all very sweet and cute. The next day, Nicholas is wilding out like a baby does, crying. And how old was this baby? 6 months-ish? Or did they say? Yeah. And
I think so.
Kelly has the baby
Mm-hmm.
outside. She's got the garage door open trying to work on these set decorations. And we get the angry neighbor yelling over the fence because it is too loud. And then Kelly woke up the baby by sanding wood decor in the living room. So there's a lot happening. They're struggling on how to do this because they're not set up for kids. Cut to, it's been 5 days, and there are no leads on who the family is, who the birth family is. They agree it's time to send Nicholas to a foster home with Betty, aka Barbara Niven, the social worker, and they need to get back to their normal lives because this is just too much for them to handle. Well, Erin, Allie Liebert's character, doesn't really agree, but her hands were kind of tied. What else was she going to do? Kelly makes Erin reconciliation reindeer pancakes, which I thought was very cute. And Kelly admits she does miss Nicholas. They go to their friend's Christmas party that night to kind of get their mind off of this sadness and this emotional roller coaster that they've been on. And it's a stocking stuffer party for charity. And they bring like Nicholas's baby stuff and put it, I guess stuff they hadn't used, but they bought, and they put it in. I thought this was really cute. I'd never seen this. There were big stockings hanging on the wall at this friend's house, and it was for different age groups. And you could bring things for like a 5 to 7-year-old or a preteen or whatever, or a baby, a newborn, and put it in the stockings, and then they would make sure it went to a good home. I thought that was such a cute idea. I'd never seen that. I love that too.
I did
Erin
too.
and Kelly are at the party.
Yeah,
they have a
I
heart
loved
to
it.
heart about their dreams and their future because Erin doesn't want to let Nicholas go. And then Kelly gets a text from this person who she thinks is the mom because they were trying to narrow it down. It was funny. They had like a murder board scene of like all these people. It could be somebody's dentist or whatever. Like this person was pregnant. Could it be them? She thinks it was this girl that worked in the theater at one point who quit kind of abruptly. Turns out she just was trying to convince Kelly to be in on her like pyramid scheme for skincare or something, which I thought was kind of funny. She's like, "Oh, you will sign on?" And Kelly's like, "Yes, I'm willing to do it," thinking Yes, I'm
mean, yeah.
gonna adopt this baby. And no, it was just pyramid scheme. That you would think that Kelly had really come around at this point then. She doesn't. She starts to second guess herself
Mhm.
again, which is where I kind of have some issues, but she talks a nervous Santa kid actor into going on stage to perform. She dances with him backstage, and you think, okay, she's really coming around. She can be this mother figure. Well, then she argues with Aaron about whether or not to bring Nicholas home. This continues too long to me. Okay. Kelly angrily packs up all of Nicholas's stuff and at the house because she can't stand to look at it anymore. And the angry neighbor shows up because he hasn't heard the baby crying. And then Kelly starts weeping and says that, um, kinda wants to talk to him, and he asks her to go on a walk. This is where the ice thaws between the angry neighbor and Kelly. This was a super sweet scene. He gives Kelly some great advice and says he hasn't talked to his daughter in a while and that, there's some tension there and he needs to try to reconcile, and it really got both of them thinking a lot. He ends up calling his daughter, and they start talking again, which is really sweet. Kelly tells Aaron, "Okay, I want to bring Nicholas home." At this point, I don't know if I would believe you, Kelly. You've been playing emotional yo-yo with me for a lot of this movie, and I don't know.
Mm.
We'll have to wait and see.
Mhm.
Barbara Niven brings
Mhm.
him back the next morning because she's
Mhm.
got nothing but time around the holidays. I know they're on call, but she's like, yeah, this must be my only case that I'm working. Yep, I'll just be Nicholas's personal Uber betwixt foster home and you gals while you're figuring your mess out. Whoosh. Yeah.
She had taken a special
Well, and she even
interest.
said as
Yeah.
much. She was like,
She had
I knew
taken a
you'd be
special
calling and
interest in
wanting him
this
back.
case.
So
Yeah.
I even told the foster family that so they didn't get attached. Okay. But now we're not just like surface level approved. We got to be full fledged home study, foster family approved to adopt this baby. They have to baby proof. They have to put up baby gates. They have to do all this work to the house, put up medicine, lock it all up, all the stuff that you have to do. And the moms call in all their friends to help. The angry neighbor babysits Nicholas, which was super cute. I think the moms could have done it, but I guess they were in baby proofing mode. Aaron and Kelly's folders are on the table. Okay, so Kelly was going to go make some presentation for something, and then there was the home study folder with a bunch of personal paperwork and bank statements and etc. And they swapped the folders. Kelly accidentally, takes the adoption paperwork to her presentation and kind of tanks it, I guess. But it seems like it's not that big of a deal. And then
Nope.
that part got yada yada more than I thought it would.
That part
Aaron
kind of
can't
got
get
yada
the
yada a
adoption
little
forms
bit.
notarized, which I hate to tell her, I think Kelly would have had to been there too to get them notarized, at least in my personal experience. You need both parties present, but what do I know? Um, the neighbors, the neighbor dad shows up and his daughter is there and they reconcile. This is where it really gets crazy. Okay, so we're trying to get the house ready. We're getting paperwork. We're going 1,000 miles an hour. Neighbor guy's watching the baby a lot. The shipping mailboxes, etc. store had a water main bust. So there were these giant trucks of Christmas gifts, I guess, that needed to be packaged up and shipped out right before the holidays for Allie Liebert's character to deal with, but they couldn't get in the store. So she just had the trucks routed to their house so that all of the family and friends could get the stuff sent out from her house, which is far-fetched, but okay. That's a oopsie doodle we haven't seen
Sure.
before. I can buy it. Well, the biggest oopsie doodle is the home study guy who's not their social worker. It's a different guy. Again, I think it's usually the same person. But okay. This guy decides, I'm just going to drop in a day early to do the home study walkthrough. And he shows up and it's like the stinking North Pole in their house with mailboxes, etc. everywhere. Literally all the et ceteras were there. Okay.
Literally,
They're rightfully
etc.
freaking out. But luckily, it goes really well because they have this heart to heart with him. They talk about their reason they want to adopt Nicholas, and um, he was super easy to talk to, and it was a very sweet moment. So there you go. Got that behind us. They go get a family picture taken with the three of them with Santa. But then, birth mom called DCS and is talking to Barbara Niven's character, the social worker, and wants to talk to Aaron and Kelly. What does this mean? Because the rights have not been terminated at this point yet.
Here we go.
Correct?
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. And so this sort of throws the whole thing into jeopardy. Will they get to keep the baby after they've
So
done all
social
the
worker Betty's like,
things?
I'm on
Yeah.
my way over, girls. I'm on my way over. And it's Christmas Eve, right? Because the whole family, both sides of their families are at their house Christmas Eve. We got the mailboxes, etc., out of the house. We've baby proofed everything. We're ready to have Christmas. Now we've got this bombshell. What's going to happen? And they tell their family, hey, y'all have to chill. Okay. We got to be on our best behavior. We got to be calm, cool, and collected because, spoiler alert, Barbara Niven's bringing the birth mom over to their house to talk. We don't know what the end result's going to be, but we're going to have a little chit chat. They send their families basically to opposite corners of the house, like go hide in a room somewhere because this house was huge, by the way. I guess because they had no kids, they had money. I guess that's how that goes.
Yeah.
Classic dink behavior. Thank you.
Classic dink
That's
behavior.
dual income, no kids, in case you're wondering. Yeah, I've never been a dink.
For those of you who are
well, I guess
not dinks
anyways,
and well
okay.
aware.
So the family agrees they're going to be peaceful and calm. Birth mom shows up, and who did you think the mom was going to be? Or had you thought about it? Because I kind of stopped thinking about it.
I stopped thinking about it too. When it didn't turn out to be the woman from the
same.
community
I hadn't
theater, I was
really
thinking it was just
gone
some
down that
random.
rabbit hole anymore. It turns out it's the girl that works at the coffee shop, and she has waited on them. They get their same order for their same coffee shop date every Sunday or whenever it is. And she saw how good of a couple they were together and just really believed that they would be great to raise her son and not talk to them ahead of time. Now, didn't she get this monologue from her because she had every intention of asking them if they were interested, talking to them. She went to talk to Allie Liebert's character that night at the copy mailboxes, etc., and she just freaked out and just bolted. And she is working 2 jobs. She's trying to put herself through school. Dad's not in the picture at all. She thought she could handle it, but she couldn't. And I thought this scene was really beautiful and really touching and gave a lot of dignity to birth moms in general. And yes, I am biased, but I think when you hear adoption and foster care and all of that, I hear so many times, how could somebody give up their baby? They don't want to parent. They don't want to, no. And it's like, it's not always that simple. There's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of nuance, and it doesn't mean that these birth moms love these babies any less. They just may not be in a position for whatever reason to parent this child. And I think it takes a lot of love and courage to say that and to admit that, and maybe not leave them at a mailboxes, etc., but to choose to make an adoption plan, to choose a family who you trust with this child that you have brought into this world. It's a huge sacrifice. It's all the feelings, and I thought they handled this moment really well.
That's really well said. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that they did add so much dignity to that and really did unpack how, for many adoption situations, that is the birth mom's attempt to do the most loving thing possible, right, for the child in question. And I thought, you're right. We got this character who was overwhelmed, didn't think they could do a good enough job for this child the way that this child needed to be raised, and identified an opportunity.
So it's beautiful. Everybody's
turned out to be the
crying.
right one.
I have feelings. And it turns out she does want Aaron and Kelly to be Nicholas's parents, and she just the only reason she wanted to talk to them was to explain all of this and to see them face to face before she ends up moving out of state to go to college somewhere or something. I got a little lost in that. Everybody's heartwarmed. The family comes out of their hiding places in this house, and it's a lovely Christmas. Who's the painter? The Norman Rockwell style shot through the glass of their Christmas party, and we fade to black.
It's time for Gold or Coal.
All right, it is time for our Gold or Coal segment, the final Gold or Coal of the 2025 countdown to Christmas season for Jennifer and I. We're going to let you know the bottom line on whether we think it's worth the watch. If there's more gold in the total here, we're going to call it baby love, as in baby love, my baby love. And if there's more coal in the total, we're going to call it dink, dual income, no kids. And if it's a tie, just 3-3, we're going to call it a meh. Merry Christmas,
so my
Jennifer.
First gift is gold.
Hit me with it. What's your first gift?
Excuse me. Overall, this was a good portrayal of a foster to adopt situation. And again, I did not go through that exact situation, and every adoption story is different, but I think they acknowledge some of the absurdity of like Three Wise Men, or even there was that Candace Cameron Bure movie years ago. She decided to adopt and just adopted the kid the next day. Like, they tried to acknowledge there is paperwork, there are checks and balances, there are people who need to sign off on this. You can't just go adopting willy-nilly babies. Like, I think, yes, it was expedited, but I think overall they represented the best that I've seen on the Hallmark Channel, and I will give them gold for that for very personal reasons. Obviously, I'm biased.
Totally agree. I think that this movie, I'll start with gold, had just such
Mhm.
heart balanced with weight in this way that felt really thoughtful. Like, I think that they actually probably sat with this and tried to figure out the best way to give it weight and give it heft, but still give it heart and meaning. And I think they really struck a good balance here. This reminded me of a movie that any other year would have
Mhm.
probably debuted over on Hallmark Mysteries, because it does have that kind of weight to it that those movies often do over there. This is not obviously the traditional Hallmark kind of Christmas movie, but I think that it was really
Yeah, we
well
didn't get a lot
done
of
and
baking
really
montages
heartfelt
or
at the
things
end of
like
the
that,
day.
but what we did get is a very touching story, which it gives me more gold. It's very heartwarming and just a lot of these really tender moments, and it's building a family together. And isn't that what we should be celebrating at Christmas? Yes, I love a baking montage. I love a decorating scene. I love all that kind of stuff. But really, the heart of it, the heart of the holiday, should be celebrated more. And I think they represented that feeling and those warm fuzzies really well with this one.
Hmm. I'll follow that up with more gold
Mhm.
here. I loved Barbara Niven in this movie. You know, a lot of times when you see Barbara Niven, she's kind of a scene stealer, in a lot of
Mhm.
respects. Kind of in the same way that Melissa Peterman can be a scene stealer for me. And I think Barbara Niven did such a good
Mhm.
job of dialing back that scene stealing a little bit, where she was obviously the supporting character and a cheerleader for this situation, but she didn't overplay it, right? And I thought that it was just a really, really solid,
Mhm.
nice,
I
supportive
will give some
performance
coal
from
for my
her.
last gift. Kelly went back and forth on the would we adopt this baby, like one or too many times for me, to where it bummed me out. I was like, Don't adopt this baby if you're not ready." Like, it's totally valid to have those feelings and to have those concerns. I'm glad they showed it and they weren't just like, "Yeah, we're gonna adopt a baby and turn our life upside down." But it went on a little bit too long, where I wish we could have gotten a couple more scenes of them being with Nicholas together. Like, I feel like we were kind of missing that. It was one or the other with him, except when they went to see Santa. I feel like I would have liked to see their little family unit growing and bonding more than we got. And I'm sure that's hard when you have an actual baby on set too. But I just kind of I would have liked some more of that. So that's a
Yeah.
nitpicky coal, but a coal nonetheless.
Yeah. And I kind of have a nitpicky cold too. I gotta wonder at the end of the day if this is really a Christmas movie. This felt kind of like a great story that got plopped into the Christmas season. It just so happened that the baby was dropped off at this time of the year, and just so happened that she was working on Christmas sets, and just so happened that we could go see Santa Claus and the whole nine yards. It didn't necessarily strike me as a
I don't
Christmas
agree.
movie like I would have wanted it
It's
to.
the Christmas
You don't
baby,
agree?
Josh. It's him. His name is Nicholas.
Well,
He's
it
the
is.
Christmas baby.
It's
That is his name.
all right.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And we can say that about a lot of these movies,
Like I
honestly.
said,
But
nitpicky.
I don't agree, and that's okay.
This is
Yeah.
true. This is true. But at the end of the day, that is okay. Yeah, at the end of the day, we had more gold than coal here, so we're going to call it Baby Love. We liked this movie and we think it's worth the watch. And, I think it's one of those two. We're also got to give shout out to Ali Liebert. The
Mhm.
more I see of her on the Hallmark, the more I just think she's great. She's a great director. She's done a lot of directing work on the network and has done a couple of these starring roles. And I just think that she has this kind of next door believability to her. And I just really like her as an actress and think she's doing a great job. And glad that we kind of got a really heartfelt, like I said,
Mhm.
different
It's
kind
the
of
only
story
unfortunate part
at
is it
the
happened. It was the
holiday
last
season.
movie. We buried it at the end, and that's I have feelings about that. But yeah, her and I mean, Allie Liebert, when she's on screen, she just lights up any scene. And then I thought Katherine Barrell was really good too. I've seen her in a couple movies as a smaller character. I was glad to see her in a bigger role, and she may have been already, but I
Mhm.
haven't seen it yet. So I thought they were great together. I really enjoyed their little banter, and you could tell they'd been together a long time because they could call each other out on stuff, and like they knew each other's ticks and signs of what to look for. And with if one person was upset, they didn't even have to say it always because they just knew. So, yeah, I thought it was really good. That, friends oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that, friends,
Awesome.
is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch? Special thanks, as always, to Nick Schwartz, who did produce Hallmark's, commercial song this year, Joy to Your World, with Drew Baldridge and Mickey Guyton. If you didn't hear our interview with him, go check it out because the way that song came together is bonkers. And I've worn that song out this season. It's so joy-filled. So thanks to him for writing our theme song. Thanks to all of you for being
Same.
here. If you're watching this, this probably isn't your first rodeo with us. So if you've been here this season or any seasons before, we are so thankful for you. Josh, is this our 4th Christmas season we've done? That's crazy. That
Yeah.
is
This is
crazy.
our
So
4th
thank
Christmas
you
season.
all for dealing with us, putting up with us,
It
laughing
is
with us,
crazy.
supporting us, whatever your thoughts may be. We're so glad you're here. And hey, we are going to take a little bit of a break from the movie recaps in January. We don't do new movies in January, but we will still have a little bit of content because we're going to have our 2025 Watchies Awards, where Josh and I will get dressed up, at least from, waist up, as you can see in the Zoom call, and hand out awards for actors, supporting actors, biggest oopsie doodles, loudest sad trombones, all of the fun categories this season. We will also put out something on our socials for the fan favorite awards, so keep an eye on our socials for that so you can vote for your favorite movie that we covered on the podcast this year. I know there were other great movies. We both love Single on the 25th. It's not going to show up as an option because we did not cover it on the podcast. So, very sorry about that. There you have it. But hey,
There you have it.
and I'll
I love
say it
that you're
again because I know I'll get asked.
establishing the
That's just how
framework
we have to
early and
do it around
often.
here. But you can let us know in the comments, either below on the YouTube video or on our socials, or email us, whatever. What were your favorite movies this Christmas season? We want to hear from you because I think part of the beauty of this genre is, yes, people say they're all the same. There's a formula, sure, but they're not all the same. And there are different movies that stand out to one person more than another for whatever reason. I do think a lot of that has to do with nostalgia too, like what Christmases you grew up with. I wonder how much that influences what movies stand out to you, Because some people are already posting their favorite list, and I'm like, how in the
Oh,
world
I
did
think
you
so.
rank that one so high or that one so low? And it's so personal though, and I love that. So I
I've
think
wondered the
there's a
same.
lot
Yeah.
to discuss. You won't be without us for very long. But until then,
May your days be merry and bright. We'll see you in a few weeks for the Watchies.